It has to be when
Cacao.
Prolific, so gifted. I'm the type that's gon' go get it. No kidding. Breaking down a swish in front of your building. Sitting on the steps, feeling no feelings. Last night it was a cold killing. You gotta keep the devil in his hole, nigga. But you know how it go, nigga. I'm front line every time.
Well, UEFA released the UEFA Men's Player of the Season shortlist for the 2018. Alright, we know the finalists are Lionel Messi from Barcelona, Cristiano Ronaldo from Juventus, and Virgil van Dijk from the European champions Liverpool. So gents, who do you think should have made the cut? Well, first of all, do you think the three that are on there should be there? No? Is that unanimous?
Look, I think maybe before we dive into it, maybe we should just sort of get a sense of what this list really is and what's the criteria behind it. Because I mean, we'll sort of like now start to include other things that might not be appropriate. So, are they talking about Europe, so your domestic league, and then they talk about Champions League, Europa, that type of thing? Is it limited to that, or include international
competitions?
And European
so
competitions?
That would include the Nations League.
Okay, but it will exclude AFCON.
It will exclude AFCON.
Because that's an Copa.
Yeah.
So because I think that's a very huge decider. Because based on that alone, I would say I'll say Ronaldo deserves to be there. Based on that alone, without international competition, I'll say Ronaldo deserves to be there. I'll say Messi deserves to be there. I don't know. I wouldn't mind as it is standing like that, given that we're saying strictly European competition. Because I mean, as much as I would like to include all Liverpool players, I mean, realistically we can't. We have to say, okay, out of this team, who was driving it the most? And it looks like if we take out Van Dijk, they'll really struggle. But if we take out Mane, maybe Salah might actually step up. But if you take out Salah, maybe Mane might actually step up. So you might say that with or without Salah or Mane, they could still really do well. So, but in some instances, if you take out Ronaldo's leadership in that team, you don't know if they win the Nations Cup. If you take out Messi, you don't know if Barcelona still does how well they did. I mean, we've seen with their opener that without Messi, it's not really a team to be reckoned with. So I'd be comfortable as it is. It's just that it's really hard for me to not think about Alisson when I think about that top three. But I don't know, man. I'm very indifferent if we're talking exclusively Europe. Yeah.
Look, I've made my feelings known about this top three. I just don't feel Ronaldo should be there. Yes, they won Serie A, but they were knocked out in the quarterfinals of Champions League. And I just, even statistically, I don't see how he made that team. Yes, they won Nations League, but Nations League also isn't that competitive. It's a 4-team tournament once you get to the knockout stages. And also Bernardo Silva was their best player in that knockout stage for me. So I feel that I can't leave out City players because obviously they also won let's say 3, you're not going to count Community Shield. They won the domestic treble. They did really well in Champions League. It was literally like down to the last minute, that goal from Llorente. But
So you'd include Bernardo over Ronaldo?
If we taking into account the international competitions that are counted, so they not have Messi because obviously he should be there. He was top goal scorer in Champions League, top goal scorer in La Liga, top goal scorer in Europe.
Goals,
So I feel that statistically he should be there. They were also 1 goal away from getting to the final. They just failed to score 1 goal at Anfield. Virgil van Dijk should be there undoubtedly. Just the things that he's done for that Liverpool defense, just changed it from where they were the previous season to where they are now. Yes, Alisson, you could say yes, different keeper, way better keeper, best keeper in the league. But
in Europe, maybe.
Some could say best keeper in Europe.
Alisson, kind of agree.
I'm glad you kind of agree, but it's just that I wouldn't mind. It's an argument. It has merit.
Some would go as far as saying best keeper in Europe, you know. If it was a 4-man list, he'd be my number 4.
Yeah.
But because it's 3 people, so I say Messi, Van Dijk, and Bernardo Silva. For me.
Okay.
I hate having to agree with Jimmy. I hate it. Because, obviously, I won't be biased. I'm a huge Ronaldo fan.
Yeah.
And I hate to have to admit that I don't think he should be in the top 3 this year.
Yeah.
Because I do think Bernardo Silva has done a lot more for football last season. If you watched him in the FA Cup, if you watched him in the league, because City played like Kevin De Bruyne, wasn't,
He
just took it and then he owned it, played well, and now it's even worse that De Bruyne is back and Bernardo's also healthy, So I won't lie, I would also have to take out Cristiano Ronaldo, put in Bernardo Silva. Because at the end of the day, I think it's the greatest of all time because there's a certain level I expect him to perform at.
Exactly.
Once I take down the level that I'm expecting from him, it means that it's no longer me thinking he's the greatest of all time, So, and then Messi, obviously, because top goal scorer in Europe, I can't take him out. Van Dijk has been solid in all. I don't think Alisson's the greatest goalkeeper in the league, even the BPL.
Yeah.
I personally wouldn't even put him in my top 2.
Wow.
In
BPL.
Oh,
yes.
Top 2 keepers.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Alisson without Virgil van Dijk, or if you've checked games where Liverpool are actually, where they've been caught out defensively, where you'd expect your goalkeeper to make an unbelievable save. Alisson's probably best save last season was the free kick against Messi in Copa, and that's because Messi had scored a similar free kick in UEFA. He was sort of expecting that. If you think of the likes of David De Gea, look at David De Gea.
So he just learned fast.
Yeah, look at David De Gea, the game against Spurs. Game against Spurs, you can take out like 5 highlights from that game where you say this goalkeeper is unbelievable, and whereby you can see that he's clearly got a bad defense in front of him. I think Alisson without Van Dijk in the games where he would be exposed, let's say Dejan Lovren, Gomez, games like that. Against Man City, could probably even concede 3 goals in a game like that. That's just hypothetical. So for me though, a goalkeeper like Ederson you can see him as a goalkeeper. His acrobatics, the way he plays in the team, his assists as well. You remember the assists? That's like a midfielder's pass,
Sure.
So for me, top 2 would have to be Ederson, De Gea, then I'd consider Alisson. So
you'd consider. It's not even him.
No, but so now you're faulting Alisson because he has a good defense.
No, not necessarily.
I think I've made this argument before. It's a fact. It's one of those things that, look, if Messi is playing with a very, very poor squad and Ronaldo sort of is like a stacked up squad, I wouldn't say that, no, I don't think Messi should be included. You can sort of, it's that Sanchez situation. Because see that Alexis Sanchez is a really, really good player, just that he happens to be at Arsenal and things are not working well. So you couldn't fault him for that. So I think it's that type of situation. It's like De Gea, you just see he has a bad defense. He has Jones and Smalling in front of him.
But Alisson has won, Super Cup, has won UEFA Champions League, and he has been a good goalkeeper in those games.
He's won the
Copa America as well. So I think if we have to look at that as well, you have to, if we're going to use that criteria for Bernardo, so we have to use it for Alisson and we look at them as well. But I wouldn't cry over Alisson not being in the top 3.
Yeah. So wouldn't you say, because I think finalist criteria is the one that makes most sense. So wouldn't you say that you'd pick based on that, so domestic, how did you do with your team in Europe, and then look at your international duties, how did you fare there? So wouldn't you pick Alisson over Bernardo?
Bernardo comes in because, they don't take into account Copa America. They just take into account European international competition.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
So that's why Alisson doesn't make the list. Because if you take into account all international competition, then I'd probably also be putting Sadio Mane.
Or Salah.
Salah. No.
Not last season.
Kanti wouldn't even put Salah. No, I wouldn't put Salah. I just think they were very underwhelming in AFCON. So
beaten by Wafanda.
Sadio Mane carried his team all the way. And your top 3?
No, mine would definitely. I'm covered by you. I think Bernardo Silva probably had a better season than Ronaldo overall. Ronaldo's probably helped by his reputation. Probably the only reason why he's there. He was even injured around about the time when Juve went out of the Champions League.
Yeah.
And from that moment onwards, he barely played the rest of the season. Moise Kean actually.
But don't forget what he did. Don't forget what he did. Don't forget what he did when he was coming back from the injury.
No, not tonight.
Of course. It's not a reputation only, guys.
No, but look, there are people who had a better season than I'd even go as far as saying Raheem Sterling had a better season than Ronaldo last season.
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, I think it's the proximity thing. I mean, I'm a huge Ronaldo fan, but I didn't even watch a single Serie A La Liga Serie A game because I mean it's Serie A. We don't really watch it that much, but we see Sterling game in, game out. So I think if we had paid more attention to Ronaldo as well,
even statistically,
6 goals in UEFA is not bad.
I'm not denying the UEFA contribution. Ronaldo's made
Atletico Madrid as well.
Half those goals are
very solid defensive team.
You know, so I don't know.
Half the goals.
I don't think so. Yeah.
I don't think it's just reputation. I mean, if I have to look at that, I think then, for instance, how did Lionel Messi blow a 3-0 goal aggregate advantage? You know.
Lionel Messi's in FC Barcelona.
It wasn't Lionel Messi FC. It wasn't 11 Messi's playing.
It's not happening on Ronaldo's watch. We know. It was never going to happen on Ronaldo's
watch. A 3-goal
lead. Blowing it up like that, it was not going to happen.
Even at Anfield.
Especially at Anfield, because it's been terrorizing Anfield.
But that just goes down to leadership, you know, and the type of character you are on the field and what you expect from your players, you know.
And Messi's not that guy.
He's not that alpha male type of leader, you know. Everybody has their strengths and weaknesses. It's not him, you know. It is Ronaldo. You see it game in, game out. Even if he's injured. When Portugal won Euro, he got injured, but he was there on the touchline expecting the most from his players, you know, to carry on going through, and then they won that game. And even now in Nations League, he didn't do anything in the final, but you know, just that constant expecting this level from your players and always pushing them, you know. I think that works in his favor in terms of leadership.
And look, man, Messi is a great talent, and I think his style of play, it doesn't need a lot of fitness, and it seems like Ronaldo, the more he evolves, that's why he had to stop doing the runs and crossing, because he saw that it wasn't going to sustain that. So there's a lot of things that obviously statistically he has to drop down. I mean, that's bound to happen. So there's a lot of things that you have to watch game in, game out. There's a lot of intangibles that it brings to the game that are not necessarily reflected in the stats. So it won't always be about the stats. It's just how it is.
Sterling had a better season.
No.
Definitely had a better season.
Nah.
For me, anyways. Let me ask you guys then. This 3-man shortlist is based on UEFA's criteria. How will this shortlist differ from the FIFA Best Award shortlist? Do you think it'll be the same? Who comes in, who comes out?
I mean, should more or less be the same. I think Mane definitely comes in. In my opinion, Mane definitely had a better season than Messi. He won the Champions League. That's as high as it gets. I mean, the Champions League, you can argue that it's rated even above the World Cup. I don't think there's a more competitive tournament in terms of like bringing in talent from the top 16. It gets very competitive, and the top 4 gets really competitive. So it's a very competitive tournament. So when you win that, and then you're able to take your team to the finals of your nations. I want to align it to the whole nations thing. Your continental tournament. If we can call it that, and did very well in the league as well. I mean, it's Salah's team. If we're being honest, everyone plays around Salah, but he was able to sort of grind and take in that spot. So I'll definitely bring in Mane, but I don't know, man. For definitely for Ronaldo. If the top 2 was going to remain the same, but this is what I hate about this whole awards thing and. The Ballon d'Or, especially on the Ballon d'Or side, there seems to always be this thing of like railing towards a sentimental thing and actually not being consistent and being fair. With Modric, it was like a sentimental thing. Like no, there was just something about Modric that we had to give it to him. I think Van Dijk is going to win both because of that thing. Because like no, he's a defender, he stood out. But I mean, Messi, some might argue that had a better season than Van Dijk in terms of the load that he had to carry. Messi virtually didn't have any help from that Barca squad, and he did very well. Was the top goal scorer across Europe. So I mean, there's that whole sentimental thing. So Van Dijk probably wins it, but I don't know, man. I wouldn't give it to him. I would look at where we are awarded it to consistently throughout the years. It looks like it's always without Champions League we don't even consider you. And then after Champions League, we look at those things that differentiate you. Say, oh no, he took his team to the finals. He did very well in the league, and then we sort of like give it to that player. But hey, man, we'll see what happens. I think Van Dijk wins both, but I'll definitely include Mane.
Look, if it were up to me, my top 3 would be Alisson, Van Dijk, and probably Bernardo Silva. Still makes it for me. But at the end of the day, we do know that Messi will be there because it's Messi. Ronaldo, maybe he will be top 5 definitely, but we don't know whether he's gonna crack top 3. But I do expect the list to almost stay the same. Maybe Ronaldo out, someone else in. And like you say, it's easy to make the case for attacking players because you just look at the goals that they're scoring. But when you're looking at now, okay, Alisson, he was Golden Glove, for the league.
Also in the Copa.
Yeah. So, and just the difference that a goalkeeper makes in the team,
It's huge, yeah.
It's a huge difference, but you can't really quantify it as much as a striker who's going to get you a hat-trick every 3 games or get you 50 goals or whatever. So I really want to see Alisson getting up there, We haven't seen a goalkeeper get up there since Neuer. But I really want to see Alisson hitting that top 3.